Hello, friends. Welcome to Jiku Diaries for this special episode that marked the World Sports Journalists Day on July 2nd, that was Tuesday. To mark the occasion, the Sports Journalists Association of Mumbai honored 7 elite sportspersons of yesteryear. They also had a panel discussion on India's prospects in the upcoming Olympic Games to be held in Paris from July 26 to August 11. The panel discussion was done by noted coach in air rifle shooting Suma Shirur, president of Athletics Federation of India and former Olympian sprinter Adille Sumariwalla, tennis doubles specialist Purav Raja, and now an expert on television, Viren Rasquinha, former Olympian hockey, and Leroy D'Sa, champion badminton player of yesteryear. The panel discussion was anchored by popular broadcaster and commentator Prasanna Sant. Let us listen to what the experts have to say on India's prospects in the Olympic Games.
Here's the standard question that I'd like to ask all the panelists. The first thing, your expectations from the hockey team going into the 2024 Summer Olympics.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'd just like to thank the SJM for inviting me here, and congratulations to all the sports journalists. I think sports journalists play such a huge role in the sporting landscape, and actually many of y'all, I see many friends in the audience, and many of them have actually seen me growing up right from the time I was playing in school, so it's special to be over here. In terms of hockey at Paris, we are coming on the back of a brilliant medal win at Tokyo, which was after 41 long years. Many teams came so near yet so far from that medal, and the team at Tokyo finally won that bronze medal and got over the finish line in that very tense bronze medal match against Germany. In terms of the team, and the squad just got announced a couple of days ago, and I'm happy in a way that the coach has got the team of his choice. In modern sport, especially in a team sport like hockey, where unlike cricket there are less stats to back you up, it's very important for the coach to get a team of his choice. It's going to be hard. Men's hockey, if you look at it, there's Australia, Holland, Germany, Belgium, Great Britain, Spain, so many good teams out there. We would expect to get to the quarterfinals, and then on the other side you have Holland, Germany, Spain, Great Britain. One of these teams we're going to meet in the quarterfinals. Irrespective of what position you are, irrespective of who comes on the other side, it's going to be a very, very tough quarterfinal match. I remember the last Tokyo Olympics, we got Great Britain, and that was one of our most outstanding matches in the quarterfinals. And when it comes to big events like the Olympics, it's all about playing well as a team under pressure and being composed under pressure, doing what you do 10,000 times in training but executing it in 60 minutes. And in terms of talent, in terms of ability, this team has it all. It's about now executing it under intense pressure. My one concern would be, at the last Olympics, we had two excellent right flickers, both in very good form, Harmanpreet as well as Rupinder Pal, who got cumulatively between both of them goals in double digits for India. This time, if I had one worry, it would be, I feel there's too much dependence on Harmanpreet in terms of the right flicks. And when you become predictable in terms of one right flicker, something that we experienced at the World Cup as well in Bhubaneswar, it becomes that much easier for your opposition in their penalty corner defense to close down all the angles for your one main right flicker. I don't think the other right flickers are anywhere close to the same level. So I guess that would be my one major concern. But in terms of ability to repeat that medal performance, I think surely this team has the experience and the expertise to get across the finish line at Paris.
Yes, just to take the sub-question ahead, like you said about the executing the plans, and we'll talk about the traditional rivals that India is expected to face in the quarterfinals and going ahead. How's the preparation been? How's the planning been getting into such a big race?
Honestly, it's been a very tough last few months for the team. We went to Australia, we lost all 5 matches. In a way, I'm not surprised. India historically has really struggled. I think in every sport, and there are a lot of great athletes over here on the table, you tend to struggle against the kind of play of some opponents. And for the Indian men's hockey team, Australia has always been the big bugbear. We struggle with the pace and intensity. I don't think we struggle as much at all with Holland, Belgium, Germany, etc. The way we struggle against Australia. So the Australian tour was tough. Even in the Pro League matches, they have ran all the teams very close, a lot of draws, including with Belgium, with Holland, with Germany. So those matches are close. I think I see it as a positive that Australia and Belgium are on our side of the pool, because you're not going to meet them in your first knockout match. And I think all the teams are beatable: Germany, Holland, Great Britain, Spain on that side, who on paper are favourites to come top 4 on that side. But again, you have to take it one match at a time, one step at a time. Even Argentina, New Zealand are tricky opponents. We start off against these 2 teams, New Zealand first and then Argentina. Argentina were obviously surprise gold medalists at the Rio Olympics. And Argentina is a team that can trouble any team in world hockey on their day. So just so many road bumps along the way. It's not been the best of preparation, but no one remembers what you did in preparation. It all matters in those 2 weeks at Paris, how well we play together as a team. And I would just urge the team to I think under tough conditions, when teams are really challenging you, that's the time the team spirit plays a big difference. And that's the time every member of the team has to really fight for each other and support each other, because you can be assured there will come many hard times during the tournament at Paris. Best wishes to the team, and I really hope that they can repeat the medal-winning performance which they did at Tokyo, and maybe go 1 or 2 better as well.
Oh yes, thank you so much for your thoughts. I'll come back to you the next round. Of course, as I said, we're going to talk about athletics, the medal and all of that. So your expectations from the athletes at the track and field games?
Anyway, greetings on world journalists. I'm not going to repeat the greetings which he said, but it is very important what you do. Of course, you don't like half the things I say, the journalists, but they can help it. But having said that, I think the Indian team will do better than they did at the last Olympics. When I say better, I never talk in terms of medals. I'm not an astrologer, I can't predict medals. You see data, and I think you need to go by data. You need to follow a process. Now what you need to see also is what is the progression that has happened. What is the progression in India? What is the progression abroad? What you also need to understand is in London, 10 athletes qualified. In Rio, 16 athletes qualified. In Tokyo, 20 odd athletes qualified. More than 30 athletes will qualify for these Olympics. So you need to see that progression. Not only that, you then need to study how many were in the top 8, how many came to the top 6, how many came in the top 4, how many could get medals. If you can see that progression, again you study what is the consistency. Take for example Neeraj, and everybody keeps putting pressure on Neeraj. Understand that the only reason why he's won Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, World Championships and the Olympic Games is simply because of his consistency. he has never been the number one thrower in the world. He's always been, in terms of highest performance, that year number 4 or 5. He's never thrown over 90 meters. But when it comes to crunch, he will throw his 88, 89 meters. Those guys will throw 87 meters. He will win the gold. Can I predict he will win another gold? Very difficult to do that. His strength is his consistency. There are at least 4 to 5 throwers in the world today throwing over 90 meters, which Neeraj has never ever done. So I think one needs to understand the perspective. One needs to understand from where to where we have reached, how we have progressed. World Championships, Budapest. 3 javelin throwers in the top 6 in the world. Did we expect it? We knew that they would throw 80, 83, 84, 85. But nobody expected that the others would throw so badly that they would be in the top 6. So I think we need to forget medals. I think we need to look at progression. I think we need to focus on the process that we are following. And I believe that if you follow the process, it's just a matter of time the medals will come. So focus on the process, result will happen. And this process takes 3 to 4 Olympic cycles. And we are seeing the progression. Last Asian Games, 29 medals. Previous Asian Games, 18 medals. Last Commonwealth Games, 8 medals. Previous, 3. So you need to study that and get to data. Instead of, just trying to say, we are doing this, it doesn't happen. It takes a long time. So that's my take on how we are going to do it in the Olympics.
Just to take that discussion ahead, Adille, so you mentioned about the progression from how the qualification of athletes increase. You mentioned about the process. How's the preparation been getting into these Olympics of the athletes?
So I think, so just to take you one step back, we run the largest grassroots level program in the world, the National Inter-District Championships. Before the National Inter-District happened, there are 650 districts in India that organize the district championships. Under 14, under 16, from there we pick up 13 athletes and bring them to All India Inter-District. 619 districts last year, 6,000 plus athletes, only under 14, under 16. Whether you find Neeraj or Hima or Duti or whoever you call, they've all come out of this program. So that's the starting point. So the focus was a 2-pronged strategy. The focus was elite, look after them completely separately, grassroots completely separately. For the elite now, since we had I don't want to go grassroots, a long process, but for the elite, if you look at it, what we've gone and done is, sports is a science, sports is biomechanics, biochemistry. Therefore, science is important. We brought in top-class foreign coaches. For example, Neeraj first had an Australian coach, then a German who was himself a world record holder. Now we have a German biomechanics expert with him. That's what we did. So we have 7 foreign coaches training different. So the guy who's training the 4x4 relay is Usain Bolt's assistant coach. The guy who's training the jumpers, himself an Olympic medalist. So we brought in experts to look after, to make sure the sports science, the sports medicine is taken care of. We've also we're creating a whole ecosystem around it. So Neeraj doesn't travel alone. Neeraj has his coach, a biomechanics expert, a physio, a massio. It's a team that we send with him. So it's all fine. We're literally sending 20 support staff along with the team. Though we can't accommodate them all in the village, we are accommodating them outside. So whether the extra physios, extra coaches, extra sports science guys, the doctor, the sports science doctor, etc., etc. So unless you create that ecosystem around the athlete, you can't do it. So we're preparing. So again, going back to grassroots, we're preparing coaches. Till 2 years, 3 years ago, we had something like less than 50 level 1 coaches of world athletics. Today we have more than 2,500 of them. Our aim is by the end of next year to have 5,000. Well, if we have to get them into the district. Level 2, we had 5 or 6. Today we have over 250 level 2 coaches certified by world athletics. Technical officials, again, if you want to run events in each district, you need technical officials. Who's going to run them? So we created 10,000 district level technical officials. So it's an ongoing, and that's why I say you fix the process, results will happen. It will take time, but results. There's no switch on, switch off button in sport that you can do.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful to listen to you. Thank you so much.
Well, this is the first time that badminton representation is the largest. And because it's the largest, and the way our badminton players have been playing right throughout the year, there is too much of expectations. But I personally feel the most important point was to qualify for the Olympics. All the players who have qualified, I believe, have a very good chance of coming back with a medal. We have 2 boys in the singles category, Sindhu in the women's singles. We have Chirag and Satvik in the men's doubles. Chirag and Satvik, in my opinion, are the best prospects to come back with a medal. I would place Sindhu next because she is the one who has tasted blood and she knows what it is to win at the highest level. She has once again started seeing good form, and I'm very sure with the guidance that she's receiving from Prakash Parabone, winning a medal, I don't think will be difficult. Lakshya Sen and H.S. Prannoy, both, to me, are the dark horses of the singles. Lakshya Sen once again has been playing extremely well. Unfortunately, H.S. Prannoy has been having some medical issues and he has not played very well, but I think now that is all over. If these players are able to be injury free, and I'm very sure that this time we will come back with at least 3 medals, if not 4.
So, you took the names of those badminton players whom you expect them to win the medals, and also a couple of dark horses that you mentioned, whether it's the singles or the doubles. Leading into the Olympics for the last couple of years, couple of injuries here and there. How's the preparation been getting into the Olympics of all these badminton players?
See, the preparation has always been there. It is not that we are preparing ourselves just now. We have been preparing ourselves right from the very beginning. All these guys have been in camps. As if you ask me, most of the players, I don't think they have seen their homes for a very long time. They have all been in camps, and the results, the good results that we are getting in badminton is only because all these players have been in camp. They have been playing under the circumstances, under the facilities that are available at the highest level at international standards. And that is why today you will see, I do not know about the other games, but you will see badminton has always been doing well. Even our ladies came back winning the Asian team event, which was never expected. Nobody thought that they would ever do it, but they did it. This is only because of the correct preparation that has been taking place. We have camps, that the players are put in camps, and they have been, what shall I say, beaten up into becoming good players. They have been trained to do things, and they are doing it. Earlier it used to happen only in Korea, Japan, and China. But today India has caught up with all these players, all the other nations. be surprised even if our women's doubles, this is the first time that this pair is playing, but I won't be surprised because they have had victories over many of the top combinations. So if they are able to hold themselves correctly, sky is the limit to them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Russell, for your thoughts and expectations from the shooters getting into Olympics.
First of all, I would like to thank you for this invite, and thanks to all the sports journalists here. You all are so much a part of the whole process. You've been with us for so many years, and I can only thank you today. Going forward to the Olympics, I think this is the last week that we are home, and we start this Sunday. And I think this is the last leg of our preparation for the Olympics. And in a sport like shooting, it's every breath counts. So it's really about how each of my young athletes is able to have that command and control over every single breath that they're going to breathe on that day. Because even one breath, if you exhale 1 second later, is going to cost you a decimal point. And one breath that you exhale 1 second earlier can also cost you your point. So it's half a millimeter here and there, can cost you a place, can cost you your medal, can cost you a place in the finals. So in a sport like that, I think it's very hard to make predictions, and though I'd love to, and I wish that all my predictions come true. But I feel that every athlete has really worked for it, and this is the first time where we had to actually test that which athlete is able to go through that scene and have that command over themselves under stressful situations. So this is the first time we've had the Olympic selection trials. And I must tell you that it was a huge success. Simply by looking at the way each one has performed, and especially in my event, which is the air rifle event, we had 5 and 5. Each one of them was capable of making it to the Olympic team, not just there, but winning the medal. And it was, I think, the hardest job, and they had to go through the very high pressure competition, and they all come out victorious. They all come out bringing out their best. And I think that speaks volumes about the kind of preparation that has been put in the last 3 years in every direction. So in shooting also it's a very technical sport. Also the rifles matter, having the latest equipment. And every athlete, today I'm very happy to know that once you're part of the Indian team, sponsors are there, and everyone has done a great job. OJP is here, and all the sponsors have really chipped in, and they've been out there in complete support of the athletes. So today, and even the rifle manufacturers, they have an art. Just 1 year before the Olympics, they want to launch a new weapon. So it just makes it, the whole game becomes a little more complicated. But thanks to everyone's support, every athlete is able to get the latest weapons. For the coaches, it's about also every weapon that comes in comes with its own challenges, and find the best tuning for their athletes. So this time I think this was possible. And then of course technically I think it's a very, very fine process, and today I really can proudly say that we are far ahead technically in terms of the process than what we were 4 years ago. We've really worked diligently with every detail, and today I can say that they are all world class. I mean, they are one of the best in the world, and I feel so proud that now I don't have to talk about 1 or 2 champions. Each one of them is a champion in their own right, and they have the ability to win. And but a lot of inclusion that we had was a lot of breath work, because at the end of the day it's about how you manage that under stress. So now the support staff has to fade out, slowly the coaches fade out, and at the end of the day, on that day, the athlete is there all alone. And so our effort has been in not making dependent athletes. Our effort has been in making them independent so that they can stand out there, taking the self-responsibility and go out there and make those bold decisions and be able to stand tall no matter what the situation is and come out a winner. That's what the effort has been, and I'm quite sure that each one will make us proud. Whether we win a medal or not, it depends on that one thing, which I cannot predict.
Absolutely. In this that you just now said in your answer, a couple of things we mentioned about the technicality of the sport. One breath that goes here and there. It's such a focus-based, concentration-based sport. The quality of rifles, the new rifles that are coming. So getting into the Olympics, how have our shooters prepared? Looking at what challenges that they might face at Paris in the Olympics.
So we've shown our skills over the last 3 years where we've been winning consistently, we've been winning at major competitions, and the biggest test for each one of them was the Olympic selection trials, and they have come out, they've all done their best. So going forward, I think the biggest effort is of the mind, and we are really focusing on that, and with our expert team in place, this is the main stress that we're going to stress mainly on this, because all the other work I can say is kind of done with. Now it's only about repetition, and repeating what we already know, but at the same time finding tools and developing tactics where they are able to keep their mind in the present moment. And this is going to be the last work. We've already started that in the last over the last couple of months, and then we had our last camp in Volmarage, and that's again in France, very close to Châteauroux, very close to the Olympic range, and somewhat very similar. So they've already, and plus even last year, at the same time when we have our Olympic last year in July, we had our training camp in Châteauroux, just to kind of feel how the temperature is going to be and how the environment is going to be. So everyone pretty much has an idea of how it's going to be at the Olympics. So it's just about visualizing the same environment in your mind and having a command over your breath. So a good physical warm-up is what they've always been doing, but this time our team has also introduced a good mental warm-up, and so this is something that they've paid, it's an addition which everyone is doing, and mindfulness meditation, that's young kids never like to do it, so but this is something that has been introduced, and each one is into the process, so they're already grooming their mind to get into a situation where they can only perform their best. So it's mainly about the mind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and on behalf of Indian tennis, I can tell you that you guys have played a major part in making Indian tennis successful. Also, coming to your point of what I kind of expect this time from the Olympics. Well, I'm just happy that the sports journalists are not really talking about the under Mahesh. At this point in time, I think it's a nice time for us to move on. And it's like normally when we come to the Olympics as part of Indian tennis, I feel like we're always based on who will Leander play with, who will Mahesh play with, who will Rohan choose to play with. And now it's been quiet. It's been one of those years where I feel like Rohan Bopanna has chosen his partner. Sumit Nagal has gotten in on his own merit. Rohan Bopanna has chosen his own partner quietly, even though Yuki Bhambri was in contention. He's chosen to play Sriram Balaji. They've had the best years of their lives. Rohan, we've already spoken enough about level 43, how he's come about. He's a Grand Slam champion finally. And Sriram Balaji is legitimately 60 in the world. He's come a long way. Now this holds very well for Indian doubles. And I say that because we have about 15 players in the top 150 now in the world, and that's a big credit to the system, and that's a big credit to Indian doubles in general. That was created by our stalwarts. That was created because of Sanya, that was created because of Rohan and because of Mahesh and Leander. On the women's front, we really don't have too much to speak about, and we have no participation. But on the men's front, we have Bopana and Sriram Balaji. When I think of this team, I think dangerous. I think, are they the most solid, consistent team? Like I can say for the other sports, when we talk about hockey, we talk about athletics, we talk about shooting, badminton, we're talking consistency. Rohan Bopana and Sriram Balaji are not going to give you consistency. We just don't know which side of the coin they're going to fall on. We don't know how they're going to play, we don't know which one is going to show up. But if they serve well, they're probably one of the best serving teams on the planet. Now it's very different when you're playing tennis at the Olympics because you will be bumping into Alcaraz and Rafa being a team. You will be bumping into Zverev playing doubles. You'll be bumping into Tsitsipas playing doubles. This is a very different Olympic format where we've not seen these guys play doubles. So will it help us to have, Balaji and Bopana having, at least playing the same tournaments together? They played a great third round match at French Open against each other. Now, I honestly don't know where that falls because I haven't seen enough of these guys play doubles, so I don't know where it falls. As for Sumit though, it's really impressive to see him, be there on his own merit. I think that's the more impressive thing for me to see Sumit. But I feel that's a participation game rather than winning medals.
Yes, absolutely. Now, when you were answering this, you mentioned about the players, Alcaraz, Nadal, Tsitsipas. It'll be a doubles format where India may encounter them. There's a nice blend of experience and youth where you have Balaji, you have Nadal, you also have Bopana. But when you play as a team, when you play as doubles partners, and when you're playing against a team, how's the preparation been? How's it been getting into the Olympics as a team, as a pair?
This year is very different, and I say that because we've played the French Open, everyone's now at Wimbledon on grass, and we go back to clay in 2 weeks' time. So who will prepare the best? Who will adapt the best to this situation? Tennis, for example, we go from clay to grass to hard, and we're forced to now go for the Olympic players from clay to grass back to clay for the Olympics. So it really depends on how well the body can adapt. As for Sumit, that's his best surface. Clay court is his best surface. I'm really excited to see him play. But as for Bopana and Balaji, they played incredible at French Open, but how can they adjust to playing there? Back to the clay. Now Bopana, we already know he's not so young anymore. He's come, for his body to come back and play on clay again. Balaji, that's a very dangerous kind of team. They serve very well, they play very big. The clay is playing faster, but I fear it's all about adaptability now. It's all about who can go back to clay. Nobody in tennis has done this for 50 years. Nobody has gone clay, grass, back to clay. So now it's just a matter of who can do this the best, and we'll never see it again in tennis. We'll never see a system like this and a schedule like this being created. So it's once in a lifetime that you'd see, Rafa playing for the last time he's chosen the Olympics. You'll see all the top players playing, the Russians play. You'll see Andy Murray play for the last time. And that's what I don't know where they will draw the line and how well they will adapt to the surface.
Yes, absolutely. And a round of applause for all when you spoke about the athletics and even Chopra, especially when you mentioned about his skill set, not going over 90, but the preparation, the progression, the practice. There's a lot of expectation that is always there now. And once you win a gold medal, you always want the gold medal, and that's how we are. You always want that performance to be replicated. How are these athletes now managing this pressure, these expectations that have come up?
So there are two parts to this.
Yes.
One is Neeraj and one is the rest of them. So as far as Neeraj is concerned, he's a cool cat. He's one of those who takes pressure well. He's one of those who lives in the moment. He's not thinking of the past, he's not thinking of the future. He's thinking of the moment, and I think that's one of his strongest points. If you ask him, डर लगता है, ये सब डर तो सबको लगता है. He says tension is a tension कुछ नहीं है. So I always chat with these people in the warm-up area before they go into participate. He's one of those. He's the tension कुछ नहीं, आप tension मत लो. He'll say, "आप tension मत लो, मैं कर दूंगा." So he's one of those. The rest of them is very different. The rest of them have now started to believe that if a Neeraj Chopra can do it, he stays with us, he eats the same food, he's same flesh and blood, he sleeps in the same room as we do. So if he can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
If Abhinav could get a medal, so could we, so can we. So I think Abhinav set that trend, but that was the time of shooting hai, my athletes didn't understand. But when somebody who came from not a really urban area, who could go out there and do it, I think it's changed the mindset and the psyche of the athletes. It's really changed their psyche, and now they say, Neeraj bhaiya kar sakte, hum bhi kar sakte. So I think that's very important as far as the mental setup goes of the team.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Viren Rasquinha, I could just ask you this, that the team was announced and getting into the Olympics. How do you, as a former Olympian, a former hockey player, look at this hockey team, and who are the players who you think will rise to the occasion? Looking at our performance last Olympics, in this Olympics, who are the players you think are going to be very crucial heading into the first two matches?
Sure. I think before I answer that, I just wanted to make two quick comments. Suma was, it's just interesting, and one of the reasons I love sports so much is that every sport is unique in the demands it has on athletes. And Suma was talking about every breath counts. In hockey, it's how you make it count when you're breathless. Because in the last minute of a match, your heart rate is at 200 beats a minute. And that time you will get one chance in the team. And can you execute under pressure when your heart is literally throbbing in your head? And so it's just something that came to my mind. And in terms of others also, what he said about what Neeraj has done to give so much belief. I was just reading up some stats post Neeraj's throw. I think there are 7 Indian throwers this year who have thrown 80 plus. And Finland is the only country in the world right now who has also 7 throwers in the world 80 plus meters. So from almost maybe 1 or 2, today there are 7 plus throwers in India who are throwing 80 plus. So just, I think the importance of a role model and that power of belief that it gives to the young kid in some village watching Neeraj on TV and for any other sport. In terms of the Indian team, as honestly, hockey is a team game to the core. We used to talk about first level. With rolling substitution today, there are about 80 substitutions in a 60-minute match. You're playing at 200 miles per hour every second. So I'm not a big fan of taking names of individual players. Everyone has a role to play. I remember at in the 2010 Hockey World Cup final, Australia versus Germany, it was at the National Stadium in Delhi. I was sitting outside and watching. Jamie Dwyer, who is 5-time World Player of the Year, was pulled out by Rick Charlesworth in the 2nd minute of the match. In India, it would be unthinkable to pull out your star player in 2 minutes of match. Jamie came sprinting out. He had his water, his heart rate came down. In 2 minutes, he was back on the pitch. And the Aussies, for example, one of the reasons why it's so difficult to play against them, because they're doing on an average of 4 rolling substitutions every 2 minutes. So every player is coming on the pitch and they're sprinting. And that's the pace and tempo that the Indian team needs to play at. Because we can't be playing at to win Olympic medals, you have to play to your strengths. Our strengths are not playing like the Europeans and playing at a slow, measured pace. That's how Germany plays really well. They know how to keep ball possession. When Germany has the ball, it's really difficult to get the ball from them. But that's not necessarily a strength. I think we need to play at a tempo that puts opponents out of their comfort zone. And that's what sport is just all about, putting your opponent out of their comfort zone. So that's the best opposition will always try to do that to you. And I think one thing is you cannot win tournaments without a solid defense and a sensational keeper. So a lot of I would say, burden on the shoulders of Srijesh and the defense led by Harmanpreet Singh to keep it really tight. I think in the Australia series as well as in the last few FIH Pro League matches, they've just been conceding far too many penalty corners, and that's something that the defense doesn't start with the four defenders. It's once you lose possession of the ball, every single player starting with the forward becomes the first line of defense. So we have to defend as a team and attack as a team. Everyone has a role to play. It doesn't matter whether you're 30 seconds on the pitch, you've got to make it count.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. You mentioned about having people out of their comfort zone. Yes, you can clap, please. You can give a round of applause if I love the answers. Also, if I could request you to just answer one question where, when you talk about badminton, there's the performance that Indian badminton players have had over the last 3 Olympics, always a medal. And of course, Sindhu is there. You mentioned about Chirag and Satvik, where they play in the doubles. A couple of dark horses also that you mentioned about Lakshya Singh. How are these badminton players responding to these kind of expectations and the pressure? Because everybody's talking about that there's a medal expectation. How are these athletes coping up with these badminton players?
Well, everybody who plays at that level is aware that there is going to be expectations. So automatically, I believe that you get used to it. You know that you have a job to perform. You have to play the game that you have practiced and are ready for. With badminton, at the current scenario at the Olympics, everyone who has qualified is completely aware as to what the other player is going to play. It is just how well you go on that particular day and perform. I cannot play your game because I'm not you. I will have to play my game and I will have to do it well. And I believe the way our guys have been playing in the doubles and the singles, both the ladies as well as the gents, the level is such that they can beat anyone. They have beaten most of the players. The point is that they have beaten most of the players. Will they be able to do it once again? That is the most important part. You see, we have been doing very well at the international field for a very long time. But this is the Olympics. Will we be able to do? That is the million-dollar question. And I believe if we just stick to what we have been doing, we shouldn't have any problem. If we try to do something out of the ordinary, that is when we will face difficulty. Keep it simple, nothing else will happen.
Oh yes, absolutely. Can you have a big round of applause for all our panelists? And when we talk about Olympics, so many sports that will come up. We're looking forward also to work on that. There's so much that we can discuss, but we also have, as you say, a plan ahead. The number of overs that we have to bowl today, 90 overs have to be bowled, so we have a time to follow. And can we have one big round of applause for all our panelists for the wonderful answers? And if you could just summarize what all of them said, it's all about rising to the occasion, managing the pressure, responding to these situations, and if that happens at the right time, then I think we should have another wonderful Olympics ahead. Can you have one big round of applause for all our athletes and give our best wishes to all the Olympics? To the panelists, I'd like to present a token of appreciation for your participation. First, just get the
का पर्स ले आना है वापस